I guess I should probably turn that audio on. Man, I tell you what, all this stuff is so new to me. We have such a fantastic show for you guys this evening. It is going to be so much fun to have Leslie Hagelberg of SidelineHD come in with us live in just a few minutes. And I tell you what, the great thing here is that she and I have never met before. Now, you may think, well, why are you looking forward to seeing her so much if you've never met before? And I just go ahead and tell you, because the baseball streaming community is like none other. The sharing of knowledge and the camaraderie that we experience is so beneficial, so uplifting, so encouraging. I have been setting up for baseball games that had playoff implications. The kind of game where you really want to beat the opponent, right? And they really want to beat you. But I've been approached by parents from the other side, and turn this monitor down, it's in my ear. And even though there's this competitiveness between the two of us, they start asking questions, or we start just chatting about the general idea of live streaming. And before too long, we're laughing, we're sharing ideas, we're sharing stories, and all that competitiveness goes away. And we're just trying to make sure that each of us has all the information we need, all the resources we need, so that we have the best chance of having the best possible stream. It is unlike any other. When we talk about sports streaming, it's just one of those things that brings people together. And I talk about that all the time. As a matter of fact, I have a video coming out tomorrow on my main channel, on my self-titled channel. And in it, I talk a little bit about this idea of mobile live streaming and how it's different than studio streaming or church streaming or gaming live streaming or in real life live streaming. And one thing that I didn't say in that video that I wanted to mention tonight is that I personally have invested in help to better understand where my main YouTube channel fits in YouTube, what niche it fills, so to speak. The process that I'm going through takes all of my videos, takes my channel as a whole, and the service has examined all that I have and offered me competitors. That's part of the process where they say, this is where you fit. These are your competitors. These are the folks that do the same thing you do. And oddly enough, when they sent me back my list of competitors, they offered me a total of 0 other channels that do what we do here, which means you and I are defining this space. We are creating this niche, the mobile live stream space that we keep talking about. That's what we're creating together, and it's blowing up, but it's doing so because you are streaming your softball games, because you are streaming your football games, because you are streaming your weddings. It's because you're streaming all the things that are not contained in a fiber optic fed wall outlet powered building. And I absolutely love being on this frontier with you. Thank you for being my community. I have a local community. I have a local church, which is actually my community. I call them my church family. But in this way, we also are all part of a community. And I am thrilled we get to be part of the same community. Thank you for being a part of this journey together. So when we talk about mobile live streaming, and tonight's podcast episode is about the sports side of mobile live streaming. It's all about that. And I see that our guest has showed up. So I'm going to add her as a video source just right quick, and then I will get us side by side here. I hope I can do this quickly. This is always a little bit intimidating to me. I apologize for that. Let's try and see what that's exactly what I was hoping it would do. My goodness. Hit it on the first try. That never happens. Okay, so let's swap those two. Nope, I need Separator over there. Yeah, just like that. I appreciate y'all's patience. You have no idea how much I appreciate y'all's patience. And then let me see if I can get her audio. Yep, there she is. Leslie, how are you doing this evening?
Hey Jason, can you hear me?
I can actually hear you. I can't believe all this works. Technology is such a wonderful
Success.
thing. And there you
You
are
have
on
the
the
hard
screen.
job.
Can you see what I can see?
I can see. Yes, I can.
Fantastic. It is so good to have you here this evening. I was just giving the introduction, just starting the show off this evening, and I'm so thrilled that all the timing worked out, that you're here and that everything is working. What a great backdrop you've got there. I'm kind of jealous. You've got some beautiful shelves, and you must do this all the time. This must be something you do constantly.
I am on the phone a lot or on calls a lot, but I actually put on a little bit here for you. First off, we're talking baseball and streaming. I want to say happy opening day, right? So, uh,
Yes,
baseball, big day. But
it is. It is. And I
yeah,
wonder
I
if
kind of
anybody
wanted
out
to.
there knows that my Texas Rangers, World Series champions, by the way, are
Yeah,
kicking off tonight on their repeat.
there you go. Well, I live in Oklahoma, so as you know, I don't have a Major League Baseball team, but I grew up in the era of WGN on TV with my grandparents, always watching the Chicago Cubs.
Oh
So
no.
I'm always that Chicago Cubs fan who, every year it's going to be our year. So,
You and Harry Carey and one other person, I guess, in the world left. Yeah.
right. But yeah, I actually pulled a couple of my older cameras out. I thought, I was thinking about my personal live streaming journey. So you've got like my handy cam, you've got, I guess it's reverse. You got my Mevo Plus with Boost, my Mevo Start. And then I have some new toys, the Tel Air, and I've got
Yep.
the Mevo Core I just got in Friday. So
Oh,
anyway,
fantastic. Well, you got some great toys sitting behind you there. That's great.
yeah. So
All
anyway,
right. I tell you what, I've got a few questions that I would like to ask. And if you have time, I imagine some of the
okay.
folks that are in the chat would have a few questions as well. I'll vet those.
All right.
But if you don't mind, maybe towards the end, we'll get to ask some of their questions too, if they want to pipe in and ask them as well. So
Got it.
I'm going to start here, and I'm going to put you on the spot, but
Uh-oh.
I'm only half serious. Can you name off the top of your head all the sports that Sideline HD supports? Go.
Okay, officially supports baseball, softball, volleyball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, and water polo.
There were
That's
8.
it.
I looked it up
Yes.
just so I would know.
Yes.
And yes, ma'am, 8 is
Yes.
it. Way to go. That is awesome. Okay.
Now, if you're unofficially though, there are a lot of creative people out there who use different sports to stream other sports. So, but
Yes.
currently those are the 8 that we full on support.
And isn't it great to see how creative folks are and what they're willing to
It
kind
is.
of, what hoops they're kind of willing to jump through to get to putting out a good stream for their particular use case or their need?
Absolutely. I'm always amazed by we have a strong user group. There's over 5,000 people in there. I learn something new every day from those users, and I'm amazed at some of the things that they can pull off. I don't think I could pull off some of those things,
Mhm.
but yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's go ahead and jump to that question then. I was going to ask about the user group, the Facebook user group. I
Okay.
watch you, and I want to say this before I ask the question. I watch you interact in that user group, and you do. I don't think people understand when they see you answering questions really who you are, and that's next.
Okay.
This is kind of out of order, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get to the Facebook user group question. If you could answer the most commonly asked question and just get it out of the way so it was on record somewhere and you wouldn't ever have to answer it again, what's that most commonly asked question?
Ooh, that is a tough one. Um, it's kind of funny. I'm gonna just back you up just a little bit because the narrative over funny thing today, I was Facebook memories. I'm a memories person, love memories. I'm the typical mom who has okay, maybe it's not typical, but I have 60,000 photos or videos in my iPhone, right? I love photos. I love videos. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of backing up is, the narrative just 5 years ago, I'd say, or even 2019. Yeah, 2019 today, I was testing my Mevo Plus at the softball field for the first time. So I thought that was pretty ironic when I saw that pop up in my Facebook memories. But the narrative's kind of changed over the last 5 years. Gone are the days when I put my Mevo Plus and Mevo Boost on the fence. I had people like, what are you doing? What is that thing? Like, what are you doing? Right. And they were like, we were kind of early adopters and it was taboo. Now you can go to a field and see, if it's a showcase tournament, you could see 6 cameras on the fence, right? It's insane. But just kind of gone are the days of that. So my narrative has really kind of shifted over time. I was an encourager that you could live stream, just like you, right? That's how I found you. You were encouraging people that they could live stream. And now it's like, okay, I don't have to tell them that they can do it, but sometimes they need a little confidence boost of like, you can pull this off. And so I always step back and I say, okay, let's step back just a little bit, like start out small, start layering things in. So number one questions, suggestions on what to use, right? That's usually probably the top thing. And then once that they are streaming, so like I say, start out small, put your phone on the fence, use a good fence clip, something protective, put your phone on the fence. Now we have the SidelineHD iOS app, right? You can use that. This is inside information for you. For our Android users, if they go out there today, they can actually install our first version of our Android app. We've been beta testing that and we'll continue to look at it. But just a little plug I saved for you. So
you heard it here first. How about that? That's cool.
So to get back to your original question, like, just encouragement. You might see that a lot from me. I also am in the Mevo group. I try to encourage people like, you can do this, you can stream. But on top of that, like what to stream with, the number one question is like, how do I improve my bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
It's the number one question, right? Like, why is my stream unhealthy? What can I do to make my stream better? And that takes a lot of detail and a lot of back and forth with a user to say, okay, well, what's your setup, right? That's a common term. It's like, what are you using? So that's probably the number one question now is like, how can I improve it? How can I make it better? But the great thing is about our community is, yes, I'm in there and I'm answering a lot of questions, but there's so many people in there that are willing to help and step up. Generally now, by the time I get to a question, somebody's already gave them a viable answer. And it's an amazing community. And I'm very thankful that I have some great people in there. We kind of have a term, a sideline pro, and I have 3 gentlemen who help me for various sports. I'll shout them out actually, Ryan, Seth, and John, who are amazing. And generally by the time I get to a question, it's already answered. But what can I do to improve my bandwidth? Well, what are you using to stream? Are you streaming straight from your phone? Well, I'm telling you, we're working hard to improve your bandwidth, right? One of the things we introduced last summer was HEVC, right? HEVC. And that's just really to allow users to stream at half the bandwidth. And in the game of live streaming sports, that's something we really kind of took on, and it's not been adopted yet. I hear murmur that, other people might try to introduce that, but like we're doing everything we can to optimize what we can do for your stream. So, take heed of that. Mevo incorporated HEV streaming as well. We worked with Mevo to get that in. And so SidelineHD users can use that as well. So bandwidth, what can I use? What's a good hotspot? Those are common questions.
Okay, so you were so incredibly well prepared to answer that because you spend so much time in that user group. And I was thinking about this conversation throughout the last few days.
Okay.
And the thing that kept coming to mind about the way you answer questions and the way you interact with your users, you are relentlessly compassionate And that may not even be a thing, but you get the same question over and over again, and you give the same exact care, the same exact gentleness, again, is probably not the right word, but you're never short with people. You always just answer the question in a very pleasing, just a very kind way that is helpful, that is genuine, and folks have to appreciate that kind of attitude in community. And for you to call out your three guys, what a great encouragement, what a great boost. And so when we tell people that you are actually a co-founder of SidelineHD, I don't think they realize that when you're answering questions in the community. I mean, this is not just somebody who's jumped in and said, "Oh, hey, I can be helpful," or "Hey, I can be useful." No, this person was ground floor, visionary, co-founder of the entire organization, and it's impressive for you to still have that kind of desire to interact with clients, to interact with users of your service.
Well, I appreciate, first, that's very kind, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad that it does reflect my role in my job. I feel like, and I kind of touched on it a little bit in the last question, is like, I want to encourage people. Mm-hmm. I want them to be successful. Live streaming is a passion of mine. It's something I'm passionate about. Capturing memories, obviously the 60,000 plus videos and photos. I want to capture memories, and I want them to be able to capture their memories as well. That really, yes, I try to be patient. I don't want anybody to be discouraged, and it took me a bit. And I can tell you, I watched some of your videos over and over when I was trying to figure out how to do overlays on my Mevo, and mm-hmm. I appreciated that. But, I'm naturally a helper, and I just want to help, and I want people to be successful. But memories are important to me. People capturing memories, important to me. I kind of got into live streaming myself. Well, I started out just recording. I did the Periscope route for a little bit. I don't know if you Periscope on Twitter, but my husband actually was a service member, right? So that's kind of how I got into it. So I know what that video means to that parent, live, recorded, those highlights. I sympathize. I like I'm with them. It hurts me when somebody's stream is not successful, when they have a rough day. It's just my nature. That's just how I'm wired, I guess. But I appreciate that compliment, and that's what I strive for.
Well, hearing you describe that, it becomes obvious why we see what we do out of you as a person, even just watching you interact with folks. So what is your official title or your official role now with SidelineHD?
Okay, so in the DK world, first off, I don't know if many people know this, but I'm actually a part-time employee. This is a passion of mine. I have a full-time career. I work on SidelineHD as a passion project on the nights and weekends, which is when everyone is streaming. So just so you know, but so ambassador at SidelineHD. However, we recently were acquired by Diamond Kinetics, and we're very excited about that. My official title at Diamond Kinetics is Manager of Customer Experience for live streaming. Okay. And live streaming is a huge focus. And basically it's continuing what I'm doing, being a seat at the table for the live streamer, making sure their needs are met, hearing what they're saying, influencing, the product team and our product and what we can do. So that's really, the role is really still the same. I just have a bit of a different title.
Yeah. But still the perfect fit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so bringing Diamond Kinetics into the picture, what changes should we expect now that acquisition has happened?
Got it. So changes, as far as changes, one thing you're going to see now, already, you can actually go to Diamond Kinetic. If you have a Diamond Kinetics bat sensor, like this is already happening. We're beta testing it now. If you have a Diamond Kinetics sensor, or there's a Marucci Cadex Smart Bat that has a built-in sensor, you can actually pair that up, and we're actually adding that overlay into highlights. So that's real time. That's already happening. In the future, what can you expect? Well, for one, we definitely have a bigger team, right? So my role right now is like introducing the big, broader team, which they're amazing, into like what I do at SidelineHD, and everybody else on our original SidelineHD team is doing something similar. So just having that reinforcement. I am excited about like the things that we can do. Obviously, they're a very strong technology company. AI generated highlights, things that we can do with highlight clips, just you name it. The sky's the limit. I can't give too much away, but there's a lot of neat things coming. So anyway.
That is exciting. So I was working on a project this week, actually a church project this week, all week, with a dear friend of mine. He and I worked together years ago, and I brought him back in to do some things. He's a wonderful vocal talent. And I was telling him about this conversation about I was so excited to get to have you tonight, and I was just jabbering about it. And he was picking my brain about what it really was, trying to figure out what I was talking about. And when I said Diamond Kinetics, and when I mentioned that, he said, "Oh, my grandson asked for the sensor and got it for Christmas, and he's just geeking out over it because it measures his bat speed." I said, "Yeah." And so they're going to be able to put that as an overlay on the stream whenever he plays. So exactly what you were just talking about. And he's a granddad, and that's the target of all this that we've aimed ourselves at. We're trying to make sure on the days that he can't go see his grandson play, he gets to see his grandson play.
That's
because
awesome.
We live stream, right?
Yes,
I
that's
thought that
exciting.
was so cool because I mean, my friend didn't have a clue about any of that until I said that one, Diamond Kinetics. Oh, yeah, my grandson. There you go. So it connected a dot for me, and then all of a sudden he was fired up about it too. So yeah, it was really cool. So as far as I can tell, and it may not be true, but as far from my world, I never saw the instant highlights before you guys did it. Did y'all pioneer that?
Yes, I would say yes. We pioneered that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So instant at bats, instant highlights. I mean, highlights, whether it's at bats or defensive plays, pitch velocity. A couple of years ago, I ran pitch velocity on my streams through SidelineHD because one of the other parents had the device, and they just simply gave me their credentials. It folded in seamlessly. I was one of those times that I was just geeking out because, man, that was the coolest thing ever. All of a sudden, my parents were saying, "Hey, I can see the radar on that." I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool."
That's awesome.
Just one of those things. And so now bat speed is going to fold in there as well. That is one of the I don't know, just step after step. You see the advancement in technology, the cameras you were talking about a while ago, advancements in technology. You can build an entire system around what you're talking about. We're going to have to get data to advance. That there's a little bit of a leapfrog there. You know, we've outpaced the ability to stream at a rapid rate. But man, I tell you, I'm excited. It's just one of those times in life where we see so much good happening.
So to sum it up, just expect better live streaming tools from us, full featured mobile apps. We've already launched the Apple one, the Android's going in, personalized AI clips. And then we have the ability, they're really good at partnerships, and we have the ability to partner with more brands that you already love in the space. So we're excited. They're a great team. Obviously, we were a small team. I won't put a number on it exactly, but we have grown a lot, and they're all eager and excited. And I'm learning more about the DK app, but you have a whole cycle of like the DK app. There are a lot of athletes and, competing, playing games within their app. They have, different things they call mini games. There's fun little quizzes you can take, and it's almost, to me, it's kind of gamifying, practice. And Just being able to kind of have that full circle moment of, okay, well, we've got the game day covered, right? We're there. Yep. We've got game day covered, and they're working on the practice side, and like together, that full circle moment. It's exciting. And they're already a highly,
I'm sorry.
Right. And they're a highly tech-driven company, and everyone there is amazing, and it's been great. I'm still learning and meeting all of the other teammates that I have, and excited for it.
Well, we're excited for you. I love the idea of bringing those mini games in, because when you bring that in the mix from practice, then you're really pushing each player individually, because they've found new motivation to get better. You know.
Absolutely.
I love that.
You want people to continue to play the game and love it. It needs to be fun to some aspect, for sure. I agree 100%.
You mind if we turn a corner?
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Did you play sports as a kid?
I did. I played basketball and I played softball.
Okay. So, what was that experience like for you?
It was fun. It's kind of where I get my competitive drive from, I think. So I am a younger sister of one brother, but with that brother came, I lived in a smaller town in Oklahoma growing up, and have a lot of cousins and a lot of boy cousins that are my brother's age that lived really close by. Okay. So if we weren't out, on the concrete playing basketball, or in the field next to one of our houses playing football, even, you name it. We were always competing, and I always tried to keep up with my older brother and my cousins who were boys as well. And sometimes, that got the best of me, but I definitely tried my hardest. But yeah school sports, and then localized youth sports. Nothing like super competitive softball or basketball, but definitely it was more school focused and recreational, but absolutely loved it. And one of my best highlights, actually, it's kind of a full circle moment, but one of my favorite memories of playing softball was, I played a lot of positions. I tried to pitch, I caught a lot, also got to play in outfield, and one of the dads from an opposing team had his camcorder out one time, and I made this really good catch, and I jumped up and I kind of turned around in air, and it was a moment that we had, and he had it on video and he gave it to us. And I don't know that we still have it, but Eddie Moses, that was his name. He made my day. He had the video, and this was like VHS tape, but anyway, so it's kind of a full circle moment, and I like capturing those memories and helping people capture those memories.
What a great story. I knew there'd be a story in there somewhere. I'm so glad you shared that. That is amazing. Yes. Okay. So while you were playing sports just as a kid, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about my own experience playing in high school basketball. My dad was sick a lot when I was in high school. He had some severe health problems, and so he didn't get to see me play very often. And I know I would have relished the opportunity for him to be able to see some of my game film, even if it was just recorded, right? And they were recording film, but it was just never made available. But it would have been such a dream of mine for him, because he was a basketball guy. I grew up listening to him talk about his own basketball experiences, and so I missed that connection with him. I really did. He's gone. We buried him just a few years ago, and I'll get to see him again. But I know that there was something missing, and so I don't know. I'm with you. There's a connection to be made. There's a memory.
It's the connection.
To be made when we can share that. And man, I'm glad we get a chance to help facilitate that.
Absolutely.
I really am.
I agree 100%. You hit on something, that's very near and dear to me. I'm not going to go too deeply in it, but I also coached my younger daughter's basketball team, and we, from kindergarten, which herding cats, if you know that phrase, to about fourth grade. And unfortunately, one of those athletes from a younger team, she actually has passed away, but I do have a little bit of video. And so that's kind of that's actually a very fresh thing and tough, but
Wow.
like having those moments is very nice. Also, probably one of the tougher days for our SidelineHD team, it's happened twice, is when an athlete on platform, something happens to them.
Yeah.
We always find a way to make sure we capture those memories, and at the appropriate time, make sure they're somewhere that they can have them. And I can tell you just from the team that we have that we all hurt deeply. We watched those players. We feel connected. Outside of here would love to have it where we can click over to any stream happening anywhere at any time and just kind of check in. And I do that often. I'm just looking in on streams to make sure that they're doing okay. And it's not rare. And many people that are following probably have got a text from me before if they needed help with something. And I'm like, hey, do this. But just to kind of get back to it, it's like we care and we feel connected, a sense of community. Those are the hard days, like because I see those players, I see their clips. Now, to be a little more cheery, we're starting, we've been SidelineHD for a bit. This last year, I started to see, I'm a Women's College World Series fan, very big softball fan. I know baseball is your streaming, main streaming vice, I should say, or in the house of worship, I guess. But last year, I was at the I got to go World Series, and on Stanford, there was actually a player who's a SidelineHD player from a team in northwest part of the state, the Northwest Bullets. And I will tell you, this year I'm elated because there was a whole team in Tennessee, but actually Georgia, I should say, but everywhere else, those girls. I watch softball all the time, not on SidelineHD too. And I can watch. Last weekend, I watched two girls that I saw kind of grow up on SidelineHD. Yeah. And so that's becoming more common. And I love that. And I feel it's silly, maybe. I feel connected to them a little bit because I'm like, I know who that is. I watched, watched them. So that's one of the funner days. Or just sitting at home on Sunday night, who's made it to the championship. I will tell you, last week, there was a 2032 team I was watching somewhere out of Georgia, I think. They were a Bolts team. Playing for the championship or semifinals, and it was 9:30 at night Central. And I was like, oh my goodness, they have another game to go. And I remember those days when my kids were younger. Right. But just know it's SidelineHD. There are humans behind, behind all the tech, and I think that's apparent if you work with us. We're here. Community's important. So,
Absolutely, community is important. I'm going to ask an odd question, and you may or may not know the answer. In the ballpark, wonder how many SidelineHD kids are now playing college ball?
Ooh.
How would you know? I mean, that's probably an unanswerable question, but I just wonder.
I don't know off the top of my head, but the numbers are pretty high. We got really popular with the older kids first, people looking to generate recruiting clips. Yep. And I don't know off the top of my head. I could metric that. I can tell you, I can sit there and just bounce around to different states and think of, different teams that I know are playing at some level. It's a pretty high percentage in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good stuff. It seems like no matter what we aim ourselves at, we get out what we put in, generally speaking, right?
Right.
So you've put a lot, obviously a lot. As you began telling stories in this visit, people began telling theirs in the chat, by the way. There's some good stuff.
That's awesome.
They're talking about some of their experience, and it's meaningful. I mean, what they're saying is meaningful in the chat.
I will be reading this.
But you put so much into this community. You put so much into. What do you get out of it?
What do I get out of it?
Yeah.
So, okay. So being able to help someone be successful, being able to give someone confidence, knowing that they can capture those memories and moments, like it just makes me happy. Like just knowing I can be a part of that, just helping somebody. I just want, like, I feel like if you can make something better, or if you can make somebody's day better or build a better day for someone, you should do it. That's a motto, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just those moments, it gives me pride. I'm proud of them. Maybe not as much as their parents, but I can guarantee you that I'm one of their biggest fans. You won't find a bigger fan. And it just makes me happy to help people. So just being helpful and knowing you help deliver, a moment to like someone overseas, grandma and grandpa, somebody in the hospital, just knowing that you're connecting families, that you're helping someone. That's me. I get a lot out of just helping people. That's what I get out of it. Just like, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. That's it. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but
no,
I hope
there's meaning
I might have to turn the table on you. What did you get out of helping me with my Mevo overlays?
Again, just the satisfaction of knowing that somebody else out there is doing their best to pass that along, because you getting good overlays was going to be a service to the folks that were watching your stream. I mean, again, that's connecting those dots. And man, if there's one thing I want to make sure that I've done, it's connect dots by the time that I get through here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I might not be their number one fan, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah,
so
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Okay. I'm going to scroll through and ask a couple of questions if you've got time.
Okay. You put me on the spot. No.
How about 1080 streaming?
1080p. That's a hot topic. I should have known that one would come. It's definitely something on the table. I don't have a timeline to say when that will come. There have been a lot of requests. The best way to ask for something for us is when you stream, we send you a text when your stream is down. There's a link in there, and our whole entire team reviews that feedback. And that gets it in front of, I can tell, but like it's very much a team decision. 1080p is something on the radar, and it's definitely something we're going to have to consider as the technology just continues to improve and the cameras are getting better and better. I will caveat and say we have some great streamers. I have the keep it simple, you should use a phone because you're brand new, and I have certain streamers who carry wagons in, right?
Yep.
Obviously, the ones who are bringing in the wagons are wanting 1080p.
There you go.
I do myself worry a little bit about the everyday streamer. Some people try to live in 720p land, and we're telling them, hey, your health is not good enough for that. Like, you need to adjust. And that learning curve is harder. So it is a concern. But it's definitely something and talked about. It's something considered. It's high on the feature request list.
Yeah, sure.
Good question.
Sure.
I should have known that one was coming.
We had to know that one was coming by all means. And in between these questions, and there's just a few, there's a lot of love for SidelineHD. The folks who are in chat are saying how much they appreciate this or that about SidelineHD. Here's another request or another question. A generic team option to allow me to stream multiple rec games for my local recreation league easily, just using the scoreboard and add home/visitor. Does that make sense?
Got you. I guess they're asking if they could do that now.
Yeah, if that option ever comes available. Mm-hmm.
Technically, you can do that depending on what sport. I would assume it's baseball and softball. Mm-hmm. I see people do that. Will it ever become available so that they just keep score? I guess what they're asking is just be able to put a scoreboard on the screen and not provide highlight clips. Is that really do you think that's the gist of it?
I think the multiple, being able to do multiple teams at a time.
Oh, so like head to head, what you would consider maybe head to head?
Maybe. I read it just like it
not
is, and I'm
true.
having a hard time reading more into it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Potentially, I think there are already people, like if you're in our Sideline HD user group, I think there are already people who kind of work around and do that in different
Okay.
ways. So,
Well, let's send Two Dad
might
Sports
be
Network
something
over to
to
Sideline
explore.
HD user group on Facebook and see if we can find an answer for him there. How's that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And maybe I might need a little more detail, and they can always reach us.
There you go. Ask
So,
that Two Dad Sports Network. Ask that question over at the user group, and maybe there's already an answer for you there. All right. Tinkering
right.
Tech is asking, does Sideline HD allow score overlays from a URL?
So that would mean like if it was a different provider to add the overlay.
I'm guessing that would
Not
be, yeah.
currently. No, not from a URL. It's
Okay.
generally driven for baseball and softball. It's either driven by iScore, which is a partner of ours, or Sideline Score, which is a more generic scoreboard app. It's kind of more Daktronics based. It fully clips the game. And it is a lot more simple to manage. It does track a few stats, but not like your detailed stats like iScore would.
Okay.
So I don't see us using outside URLs to add scoreboards.
Right. So this next question has already been answered because someone in the chat is just so good. Seth is here and has answered a question.
Oh, hi Seth.
So there you go. How about the next question then? Can we get a way to download the sideline overlay after to score the game?
Good question. So stay tuned.
She said, stay tuned. I love it. What a great nod to your question. That is fantastic. Oh, okay. Here's a great comment. One of the guys that I see all the time, his name's Richard. His handle is Fast Cash, but he says sideline peeps are family now. That's
how we feel about you.
That is high.
That's how we feel about you. And now we have a bigger family. Our founding team, we know we're a memories company, and it allows us to kind of define things in pivotal moments. And there's data there, and we can, help you enjoy it and just continue to, get the highlights, get the clips, get the video. But we have an exciting, whole big team excited to jump in on this endeavor with us and enrich that experience. So, I'm excited for our family.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for giving your time this evening. It has been such a joy visiting with you. You are a pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and close this time out. I've got a few more things to cover on the podcast. But again, Leslie, thank you for taking your time, for giving your time, and for giving your resources to the family of Sideline HD and to the greater sports streaming family.
All right. I'll see you guys in the user group.
All right.
Or send me a DM on our Facebook page. I'm always there.
All righty. Good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Wow, what a joy it has been to get to visit with Leslie from over at Sideline HD. She is a great resource for us. I'll tell you that. Not many like her in the world who really takes to heart all the things that kind of make this mobile live streaming, especially the sports streaming world, tick. And so thank you for asking your questions. That was, I tell you what, that added so much to the stream itself, to the podcast this evening. And I appreciate you taking the time. Got a couple of things in news before we sign off tonight. Since our last podcast, Mevo released the core. That's the biggest thing. And at the end of my last podcast, although we were talking about it, the rest of the news that I had brought to us got deleted somehow. I don't know how that happened, but it absolutely did. So I've got a couple of things to catch up on. The Tail Air has received some restream and user experience improvements via updates. Of course, it's been streaming Sideline HD for about a month now. And from the folks who make Tail Air, I'll be reviewing a new product for them next week. It's an adapter that fills a gap between UVC an NDI, and it's not something that you've seen before. I'm looking forward to getting that in my hands next week and getting a review video out about that, and that's from the folks who make Tail Air. Nearstream brought NDI support. Now, that would have been announced last time on our podcast, but they cut me off on the end, so that's been out for a little bit. They've released a couple of bug fixes since then, but they seem to have dialed that in very well. And I have used NDI in my Nearstream VM33 into my Mevo setup, and it works incredibly well. And then I want to tell you that there is a new company, a new player in the live streaming camera field. It's a company called AI Coco. They've been in the webcam space for a little bit, and I've been testing their live streaming camera now for a couple of months. Their software has had some issues coming to the app stores, but they finally got it out, and I have a video coming out about that on Tuesday. It is an impressive set of features. There are some very specific things, and I'll give you a teaser. One of those specific things is a hot swappable battery, as in pull the battery, it's still streaming, put the other battery in, and you're still streaming. A few other impressive tricks up its sleeve, but that first look video will drop on April 2nd on my main channel. It's going to be a very interesting little piece of equipment, and you'll need to watch out for that video coming out next week. Thank you so much for being a part of the Streamology podcast tonight. Again, thank you, Leslie from SidelineHD, for being a part of this as well. And until the next time we get together, you guys have a fantastic couple of weeks.